Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Diaspora panel. We are the voice of the diaspora. I am in the studio with Mr. Ademola Adisa, all the way from the UK. Mr. Adisa, you are welcome to today's meeting.
Oh, thank you. Very happy to be here.
I also have Mr. Lawal all the way from Canada. Mr. Lawal, you are also welcome to today's meeting.
Thank you for having me, and good day to all our viewers.
I want to say a big thank you to all our viewers. Our video last week, we have about 400 new subscribers, and we want to welcome you to the Diaspora panel. And please, if you're one of our viewers and you have not yet subscribed, please click that button. It is free of charge. You're not going to be charged. It means that anytime we release a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. So today, we are going to be talking about a very sensitive issue. We're going to be talking about Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. So is it time to let Biafra go? Is it time to let the Igbos have their own separate country? This is what we're going to have to discuss today. So we know that there have been a lot of calls by some political activists to release Ipob leader Nnamdi Kanu. And this has been generating a lot of concern. Now, Kanu, this is a man who was involved in the organization of the burning of Lagos during the 2020 EndSARS protest. This is a man who has made the southeast region of Nigeria ungovernable in the last 5 years. This is a man who was jumped bail during his own trial. This is a man who has now renounced violence for the creation of the state of Biafra. So I'm going to start with you, Demola. Question is this the kind of person, the kind of man that the federal government should release into the society, should let go? Why can't these, activists wait for the legal or court process to be concluded? Why are they looking for a political solution for a criminal case? Is Kanu an innocent man in the first place, or does he have a case to answer? Demola, what's your opinion?
Oh, thank you, Deji. The issue of Kanu is something that I don't think it should be sorted in any way by any intervention, because it's already in court. And there is all, even more than anything else, I think the court is trying to rally around now and conclude the case as quickly as possible, because the hearing has been taking place, and it seems the prosecutors have made their submission. It's only for the defense to make their own case and react. So it's reached a stage that I think we should allow the courts or the law process to take its course and conclude before anything. The issue about if Kanu have any problem with if he has any case to answer, this has been addressed already by the court. That argument was the earlier submission by the defense, and the Supreme Court have made a ruling on that it certainly has a case to answer. And they are already addressing each of the issues now. So if that be the case, I think that it's not something that we should be talking about. Now, Kanu, in his utterances, especially with the EndSARS, has shown that the cause of Biafra, he has made it the EndSARS the cause of Biafra. In its live broadcast during the EndSARS protest, he has claimed ownership about that protest. And claiming ownership about that protest also make him claim ownership of all the atrocities that went out during that protest. A lot of people were killed, and the protest was very, very much destructive in Lagos, most especially. Lagos is not the seat of government. Lagos State is not the police. It's not. They are not in control of the federal police that are responsible for this SARS police unit. Why they were destroying Lagos and its facilities and armies and killing people, especially even in the southeast, is really, really something that nobody, whoever you are, should get away with that type of criminality. It's supposed to be addressed, and people should be able to face the consequences. Let the court take its course. If you think that he has justification for all these atrocities, let him prove it in the court, in the law court. And when anything is now exhausted, if he now deserve any pardon or prerogative or mercy, then that is another story. But the local court must take its course.
Right. Thank you so much. So, Shupo, I'm going to be asking you the same question. So, is Kanu innocent? Does he have a case to answer? Some people have said that this is a case of treasonable felony. I mean, you are raising an army, even an army who are wearing the army uniforms, they are fully armed to the teeth, killing people, destroying property all over the place. So, and this is somebody who has gone around all over the world to, you know, to decimate the name of Nigeria for so many reasons. So, is this the person that we are saying that you should let go? You should just for political solution, just let him go so that we can have peace. Do you think if Kanu is let go, there's going to be peace in Nigeria, in southeast of Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much for the question. So I think if we start first and foremost, does he have a case to answer? I will say yes, undeniably. I think his rhetoric and actions have definitely led to deaths, fear, and we can even go as far as saying, in some shape or fashion, economic paralysis in the southeast. Now, whether guilty or not is for the court to decide, but morally, I think he bears responsibility for some of the chaos that his movement has sparked. Now, to look at this also critically, I think the federal government has also not done, a good, has not done good justice to its own cause. Because if you are demanding that citizens, should be law abiding, it is impendent that you also should follow the law. I mean, irrespective of whoever was behind the NSAS movement, a large number of those who participated in that movement because they were sick and tired of police brutality. That's a fact. And what is the consequence? Almost nothing. So you can't keep leaning on citizens to abide, by the law when you yourself is breaking it. Even if we look at the situation surrounding Nnamdi Kanu's, I would call it an abduction from Kenya. There were no we haven't seen any evidence of any proper extradition papers that were filed. Even the courts in Kenya, ruled that he was not allowed to, defend his himself before he was, taken to Nigeria. I mean, so if you are demanding that people abide by the law, it is imperative that you yourself as the government should set a good example by following the law. And I think, again, undeniably, has his rhetoric. I've watched some of his videos where he was asking for bullets and guns. I mean, what else will you be using bullets and guns for? That's inciting violence. So I think he has a case to answer for that. But I believe also that the federal government of Nigeria has weakened its own case and has weakened its own legitimacy in properly prosecuting this case because it has also not fully abided by the proper rules of engagement and has not really also followed international standards and norms.
Thank you very much, Shupo. Thank you. So the follow-up question I would like us to answer, and I'm going to come to you, Demola. Now, we know that since the end of the Civil War in 1970. The Igbos have not really integrated with other parts of the country. They have kind of developed a completely different worldview to that of other parts of the country. They are always in opposition to the leadership in Nigeria. And in fact, they are in opposition to anything in Nigeria. Peter Obi, for example, goes abroad at every opportunity to damage Nigeria's image. He never had anything good to say about Nigeria. If you look at our social media space, it has become very toxic for the Nigerian nation, with the Igbos always attacking other tribes and anything that Nigeria stands for. So my question is, Demola, why is it so? Why is the southeast of Nigeria? Why is the southeast so important that Nigeria does not want them to go if they want to go? Is Nigeria depending on them? Will Nigeria collapse if they leave? What is so important about the southeast that we can't let them go, since this is what they want? Demola.
Okay. Now, the issue about Biafra is very unfortunate and a very sad part of our history. It's very sad in the sense that it really is part of the problem that we are experiencing now, because it laid the foundation of Nigeria in a very bad stage. And that is part of the foundation that we are trying to rebuild now. Because the people that instigated those coups and counter coups doesn't have the interest of Nigeria at heart, but their own selfish interest. And that is what is bringing about all this tribalistic or tribal sentiment, which was not initially in the making before the coup. The civil war, absolutely, Nigeria lost a lot of lives. We shed a lot of blood, quite a lot of blood, in both at the federal and at the Biafran level. Even though the Biafran suffer more because the federal government was able to overpower them and they lost the war. So they bear a lot more of the scars of the Civil War. But the truth about the Civil War, about the instigation and everything, has not been told, especially by the people from the Southeast. They have been using the Civil War as a weapon to blackmail the rest of the country. If you notice, Nigeria is always unified in every other sphere of life until you start talking about politics. It is people use the Civil War as a political tool for their own interests and not for the unity of the country. I don't believe the Igbos are marginalized. The Igbos are, look, the Igbo even said it for themselves, that if in anywhere in Nigeria you don't see an Igbo man, then that place is not even existing. So if the Igbos are able to be accommodated in every state, every regions in Nigeria, and you said you are not being integrated into Nigeria system, then you are deceiving yourself. You are telling lie. But in the political system, I can agree totally that the Igbos were marginalized. But they are being marginalized not because of the making of some, it's because of the makings of their leaders. The leaders are selling their people for their own personal gain rather than for the general good of the Igbos. Their alliances, their positioning, their everything is not for the interest of the Igbo man, but also only for their own politics. And they are using this as a sentiment to enrich for themselves and to acquire power. So in the real sense of it, I believe Nigeria is good with everybody because each of the region have their own peculiarity, their own everything that they can bring to the federation.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Demola. Let me go back to Shupo. So, Shupo, the Igbo homeland, the southeast region of Nigeria, consists of 5 states. They are landlocked. They have no access to port. The entire southeast region is just, by size, it's just like one state in the north. It's not bigger than than Oyo State. So the question I'm looking at, and these are very hardworking people, very intelligent people, very industrious. You find them everywhere, not only in Nigeria, in every part of the world. Their land, their country, that's their land, that region is too small for them. They are very big-minded people. So why are they trying to, why are they so particular about having a separate Biafra country, which will be too small for them anyway? And are they going to be able to survive in that little space called the Southeast? That's number one. Number two is it possible for us to conceive a post-Igbo Nigeria? Is it possible for us to contemplate a Nigeria without Igbos? So, like, we have 36 states in Nigeria. If the 5 states leave, we will still have 31 states. We will still have gold in Zamfara. We will still have lithium in Nasarawa. We will still have oil in Ondo State, in Bayelsa State. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So, and is this a possibility, or how long are we going to continue to do? Because the Civil War has not ended since 1967. We are still fighting that war. For how long are we going to continue this war?
Okay, so let me answer your question in two phases. So I think the first thing is um, the problem we have, and largely why voices like Nnamdi Kanu's will gain traction, is because the federal government of Nigeria has blatantly refused to deal with the underlying issues that has resulted in figures like Nnamdi Kanu, having to resort probably to tough rhetoric and potentially violence. Because if you are in a relationship where you have no options to to determine your future, what is going to happen? I always liken Nigeria's federalism to a marriage where you have a bride and a groom, but neither party has any legal way of reassessing their willingness to remain in the union and exit if that is their wish. There is no framework for that in Nigeria. And sadly, the problem did not start today. The problem started as far back as the 1954 Constitution Conferencing that was held in London. I believe, if the records are accurate, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, supported by the North, fought tooth and nail to insert a secession clause in Nigeria's constitution in order to allow any part of the country that desired to break away to do so legitimately and peacefully. That would have been a good basis for a union, because any union that is by force is going to cause problem. A union that is by mutual understanding, respect, and all of that is likely going to work out. Unfortunately, it was Dr. Nnamdi that argued and convinced the British not to allow a secession clause in Nigeria's constitution. So that's the underlying issue. We've carried that to today. If I ask anybody the question, what is the legal process or pathway for any region today to leave Nigeria? There is none. So indirectly, you have left the only viable option for anybody who is unhappy with the federation and wants to leave to other unconventional methods, being violence and all that. So that is one part of the issue. The other question that you asked pertains to the issue of being landlocked. Well, you will see how that has played out when the 40 states of Biafra was declared in Finland. All of the 5 states that you mentioned, with a lot of other states, that basically gave Biafra access to the ocean, were included. But what happened afterwards? At least I watched probably 5 or 6 videos where different people in those ethnic areas were saying, we know the Igbos have a good cause to leave Nigeria, but we are not part of it. So even from there, you can see that there are questions. And what likely might happen is that some of these regions that are being claimed, or states that are being claimed to be part of Biafra, will come back and say we are not. That on itself is a recipe for chaos. So, if Biafra wants to go, I actually believe that every region that wants to remain in Nigeria should do so by their own free will. Nobody should be forced to remain in a marriage that they believe is unfair, is unhealthy, and should be, kept in that union and treated like a second-class citizen.
Thank you. Thank you, Shukwa. So, Demola, I'm just going to ask you one final question, and I want you just for a 1-minute question. So, as they say in Yoruba, Ipa Oraja, Ipa Odeta. You cannot buy something by force. You cannot force somebody to sell something. Everything should be free will. So, if we have a region that has remained adamant for 50 years, I say we want to leave 50 years. So why can we not have a referendum for the Southeast region? I'm sure that I'm sure that they will vote against leaving. And that will settle it. Because there are hundreds of thousands of Igbos in Kano, in Kaduna, in Jos, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Ibadan, who are doing very well. They've established very well. They have businesses, they have industries. Are they going to go back to Biafra? Definitely not. So I think they will vote against it. But I think that we should allow the people to make a choice. So, Demola, do you think we should have a referendum for Biafra?
Well, thank you for this question, because this is the most important aspect about the Federation of Nigeria. Because if, as the Easterners, especially the Igbos, are saying that some people in Igbo are saying that they don't want to be part of Nigeria, despite the end of the Civil War, they still say they are not part of it. And it's one of the reasons why they are being politically marginalized, because they don't have full and true allegiance to Nigeria. Because they are having allegiance, you can't have allegiance to Biafra and then have allegiance to Nigeria, and people will entrust leadership of Nigeria into your hand. So it's high time, because this is what the British did when the Scottish were saying that they want to be out of the Union. They put it into referendum.
Yeah. They had a referendum.
And because that was creating instability, economic instability in Britain at the time, because it's affecting foreign investments.
I remember they had this referendum, and the Scottish, they rejected it.
And the country rejected that they are not living
the United Kingdom,
Great Britain.
Yeah.
So, and they are part of it. They still remain part of Great Britain now. So it's our time. I believe that let all this court issue about Kanu, whatever, let's
sort it out.
Let's give the Igbos, the Indigbos, give them the right to determine if they want to remain in Nigeria or not, and if they want to go, let them go.
Thank you very much, Demola. So, Shukpo, I'm going to ask you exactly the same question. So, as I said, we have a strong, possibly about 40 million Igbo people, strong, intelligent, hardworking, so, and that space is just too small for them. They are big-hearted people. They are strong-willed people, very dominant, and they've spread all across the world. If they are now saying we want to have Biafra, because the thing is that if you have Biafra and the other people in Nigeria say you have to go, you have to go. You cannot vote for Biafra and say you want to stay in Lagos or you want to stay in Kano. You vote for Biafra, you go. So do you think Nigeria should give, them the opportunity to choose their own destiny and have a referendum?
Okay. Yeah. So, as I said earlier, I believe that any union or participation in any union of any either
Please speak
a
louder, Shuko.
marriage and so participation in any organization,
Mm.
may it be a marriage or any institution, a marriage, an
Voluntary.
organization, and
Mm.
all of that, it should be by will.
Mm.
People should
Voluntary.
have the freedom, and I believe it's a fundamental human right. So, with that said, they should be allowed to determine their future, whether they want to remain in Nigeria or they want to leave as Biafra. Now, after that decision is made, negotiations can then happen on what the decision that whatever decision they've made, what that means, going forward. Does that mean, for example, that Igbos in other parts of Nigeria would then have to go back to their ancestral homeland? Does that mean that they can negotiate some kind of an agreement where they could still remain in wherever they are in other parts of Nigeria and work out? So whatever that means are things that can be discussed
Mm.
and worked out. But this is part of the reason why that negotiation has to happen. A marriage cannot be a good marriage when only one party calls the shots. It's not the way things are done. Let the people decide, and even if at the end of the day it means that they have to all go back to their ancestral land, whatever that means. If that is their choice, then that's fine. But it is a decision that we ought to give not only even to Igbos, but every region in Nigeria should be part of that federation by their own free will.
Thank you very much, Shuko. So we've come to the end of this deliberation. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Ademola Adisa all the way from UK. Thank you for coming to today's meeting.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And Mr. Olalawal from Canada, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you for having me.
And my name is Dejolaya. I am based in Ireland. We're going to see you again next Sunday. Although we're going to, our next video will come out on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about APC swallowing PDP. So please, if you have not yet subscribed, please hit that button so that when that video comes out, you'll be one of the first people to know about it. So thank you. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. Thank you.